Talking with Tom. Turn your dial to cable 18. You will see the best in TV. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Sit back and listen. You will hear the best conversation of the year. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom.
Welcome to Talking with Tom. I'm Tom Dacey alongside Ed McCarver. Hello, Edward.
Hello, Tommy. How are you?
Good. Boy, back in our old stomping grounds.
Yeah. Talk about, was it Deja Vu or Back to the Future? It's nice being back here in my hometown and sort of your second hometown here in Wallingford. But it is nice to be back here at WPAA.
Yes, especially now that all the snow is gone.
Yes, and we didn't think it would leave until June. You know, I had plans to be shoveling until till Labor Day, but thank goodness the snow is there, and I'm sure it won't be long until Maureen yells at me to cut the grass. But we'll look forward to it. But in any event, it's nice to be here.
We should mention that this is our unofficial first show of our new season, since we haven't been able to do our anniversary show as of yet.
Yeah, thanks to Mother Nature, our anniversary show has been delayed, and I don't know what's it scheduled for. September now? Oh,
May 14th.
May 14th. All right, I'll mark my calendar.
Down at American Steamed.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
And we have quite a few responses already, so it should be a wonderful evening that night.
Yeah, that'll be a fun show, and I'm only kidding.
Providing we don't get a hurricane.
And you never know. Maybe we should watch the Weather Channel just to be sure that we could have the event here. But yeah, that'll be a good show. How many years now?
Actually, because it was delayed, I actually billed the events page as my 21st anniversary plus 5.5 months.
All right, so almost 21 and a half. Nice. So, well, it'll be a good event, and we can talk about that in some of our future programs. But I think we're going to start this season here on a funny edge with
yes.
our guest today.
We have a great guest this evening. I know I've been working with this dummy for quite a few years, but we have.
Now, what do you mean, dummy?
We have a ventriloquist with us this evening.
Oh.
Larry Noiva. Welcome,
Correct.
Larry.
All right, nice to be here.
And Larry, if you ever run out of characters, as Tommy alluded to, you have two more dummies you could work with right here. I'm not sure which strings you could pull on mine. Maureen's been pulling my strings for years, but you're welcome to it. But welcome to Talking with Tom.
Well, thank you very much.
I want to start out by asking you, how long have you been a ventriloquist?
Well, you know, it's funny you bring that up because I just celebrated last summer my 50th anniversary as a ventriloquist.
You're kidding.
1964, I was 12 years old. So you can do the math on how old I am. But 1964, I was, 12 years old, and I just happened to see him on TV, and I was intrigued with it, and read up on it, and it's been 50 years.
I can't argue with that year. That's the year I was born.
Oh, okay.
So,
in case you needed more props,
year.
that's when he was born.
Yeah.
What was it about it, and who did you see? Because we're roughly the same. You look a lot better than I do, but
I don't know
we're roughly
about that.
the same age. But I remember at the time, I got Sherry Lewis, I think, was the first ventriloquist.
Yeah,
Lamb Chop.
she was on TV quite a bit.
Yeah. Was that who influenced you?
Well, she was one of the influences, and of course, Paul Winchell had Jerry Mahoney and Knucklehead Smith, and let's see. Then there was Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson had Danny O'Day and Farfel the dog, and they used to do Nestle's quick
Yes,
commercials.
I remember that.
Nestle.
Exactly.
Nestle's makes the very best.
And Farfel would go chocolate.
And the sound, yes, I do
He'd snap
remember
his
that.
mouth, yeah. Those were on the old Roy Rogers TV show on Saturday mornings, and me and my brother used to watch the show all the time, and I was just intrigued seeing these puppets that these ventriloquists had. But mainly Ed Sullivan, the old Ed Sullivan show. Now I'm going way back. Some folks don't remember Ed Sullivan, but he had a
2 out of 3 people on this panel. So I'm not sure about the third one.
He had a variety show Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and my family would sit around and watch that show over Grandma's house quite a bit. And he had a lot of ventriloquists on there, along with comedians, and I was
You
just
discovered
intrigued.
a musical group that Paul McCartney was
Yeah,
in. What was
yeah.
the name? What
Oh,
was that?
boy. What was that group?
Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah,
The Beatles.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So he had a lot of ventriloquists and a lot of comedians on there, and for some reason, I was just drawn to how they could make an inanimated object come to life, and I was just intrigued with that. So I started reading up on it, and here I am.
Wow. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Good
So,
for
in other
you.
words, he got bitten by the ventriloquist bug,
Yeah.
as we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hanging out with dummies.
Which you're still doing to this day on this program.
Especially this one over here.
You were now in doing research for this program. You also, besides working with your partners there, you were voted best male stand-up comedy at the Connecticut Comedy Festival in 2002.
Right.
And you were the first to win the Hartford Funny Bones Comedy Idol Award in 2009.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about how you won that, and later I want to ask where you get your material.
Okay. First part of the question, the Connecticut Comedy Festival, that was sponsored by CPTV. So that was actually put on public access TV, statewide, I believe, back at that time. But it was a 3-week process. It was a 3-week contest. I think it started off with 80 people auditioned, and then they took the best 20, and they went on for the first night. And then from that 20, they took the best 12. They performed the second week. And then from the best 12, they narrowed it down to the final 8, which was the third week, and that was the show that was taped on CPTV.
Wow.
And we came in best male comedy stand-up on that night. And the Funny Bones Comedy Club was a video submission. You submitted a video, and out of all the videos, they took, I believe it was 8 people, and we performed in front of celebrity judges. They had Mark Dixon, Channel 3 weather guy.
Yep.
He was a celebrity judge?
He was a celebrity judge. Miss Connecticut at the time was a celebrity judge. They had 2 talent agents that were celebrity judges, and Damon Scott, the radio personality, was the MC of the show. So it was a pretty good show, and we happened to win that show too. So, but I'm not your typical stand-up comedian. I need a little help, and my little guys help me do pretty well.
Do you think that's what, not that stand-up comics are a dime a dozen, but do you think that made you stand out in the judge's eye, that you weren't the...
Well, you gotta be funny. You gotta have decent material, and you gotta portray it well. With the manipulation of the puppets and the dialogue between the two of you, and giving him a character that people can relate to. It all comes into the process, And the second part of your question, I think, was the material. And I wish I was real good at writing a lot of my own material. I do write some, but some of it I get from hearing jokes from people that give me jokes, and or going on the internet and seeing some things on the internet. Friends of mine send me emails that are pretty funny, and I try and incorporate into.
Okay.
So there's a lot to it, and being honest. If I hear a good joke from a comedian, I might try and grab it and try and twist it a little bit, So all of that comes into play.
And that's been done before.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite an honor. Congratulations.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
How long would you say it takes you to compose your routines?
I'm working on a routine right now, and I haven't got it down yet. And I do a lot of senior centers around the state, and I tried doing this new routine at one of the senior centers. It's a good testing ground to try some new stuff out. And I didn't have the routine down, so I kind of fumbled through it. So I'm still working on it, but it takes a little while because, as I said, you want every part of it to be correct as far as how they react to you, what you're saying, the puppets, I mean, and how I react to them and all the manipulation, just them turning their head can get a laugh, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a lot that you try and get into it to get every single laugh that you can get, and portray it well.
We're talking with Larry Noiva, a ventriloquist. In doing research for this, we know you've been performing for many years, but there was a specific show that you did when you were 16 years old that you talked about in Hartford. Can you tell us about that performance and why, lo these many years later, that it sticks out in your mind?
It's a show I'll never forget. I don't know if my dad used to work for an insurance company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what insurance company it was, or should we shy away from that? We'll shy away from that. Anyway, it was an insurance company in Hartford, and
that narrows it down.
Yeah,
there's only one or two insurance companies.
Right. At any rate, the insurance company he worked for had an entertainment bureau, and they would go to convalescent homes and hospitals, and we even went to the women's prison in Niantic, and the men's prison at the time was Summers. I don't know if it's still there or not, but
it is. I've been told.
Okay, so I mean, we used to get a group of people, and because my dad worked there, he put my name into the insurance bureau directory for entertainers, and I used to get calls quite a bit from people that were going to MC the show, to put a show together, looking for a comedy bit because they have guitar players and dancers and singers and that whole 9 yards. But a lot of times they wanted a comedy piece, So I'd get a lot of calls on that, and I'm 16 years old, and they were doing a show for the Oak Hill School for the Blind in Hartford. And me being 16 years old, I just couldn't see performing with my puppets in front of people that couldn't see me. So I turned him down, the MC. I said, I don't think it's for me. I'm gonna have to pass on this one, And he called me up a couple of days later, and he was persistent, and he really wanted me to be on the show. He says, I really need something different, would you reconsider? And I turned him down again. All right. I said, I just don't think it would work. I'm going to have to pass on this one. And he called me like about 3 days before they were putting the show together, and he asked me one more time. And at the time, I reluctantly said yes. In my mind, I wasn't really thrilled about it, but I said, okay, I'll do it. And I did my 8-minute routine, and they were very appreciative and laughed at all the jokes. And it went better than I anticipated, all right? So, in a sense, I was the one who was blind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the intriguing part of it all was one of the stagehands backstage when I was back there after I had performed said, Larry, there's a mother with her daughter that would like to meet you. And I never had this happen to me before, so she introduced her daughter to me. I'm going to say she was maybe 9 years old. And she says, my daughter just absolutely loved you guys. And she wanted to meet you, So, and every time I tell this story, I kind of get teary-eyed. I'm going to try and get through this, but...
it's an awesome story.
Yeah, because it really touched me, And anyway, the 9-year-old girl, she's touching my face to see what I looked like in her mind.
Okay, yeah.
Getting a feel for it by touching my face. And she touches my puppet's face to get a feel for what he looks like, And then she throws her arms around both of us and says, "I love you guys."
Isn't that nice?
That's a great story.
That's great.
I had tears flowing down my face at 16 years old because it was just a moment I will never forget. You know?
I think I would have too.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
What a great story.
Yeah. Anyway, I just got through it, so.
I see you bought a date for Ed.
Yes, I do have a date. Should we bring her out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, I got Aunt Edna here, and
Aunt Edna.
Aunt
All
Edna,
right.
and she's always
Ed
looking for.
and Edna. There you
Yes. Maureen, if you're watching, please turn off the channel now.
Let me get Aunt Edna out here.
All right, so we'll have a few minutes with Aunt Edna here.
This is good old Aunt Edna. How are you, Edna? Huh? I said, how are you? I'm good, 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 good. How are you? Where am I? We are, where am I? Tell me where we are.
We are on Talking with Tom here in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Talking with Tom. You're Tom?
Yes.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Who's the handsome guy next to you?
That is Old Man Edward.
Old man Edward.
Edna, who's your optometrist first? If you said, who's that handsome guy?
How are you, Ed?
How old am I?
Oh, no, I said, how are
Oh,
you?
how am I? Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
What's in your wallet, Ed?
Nothing. Nothing.
Be nice, all right?
Nothing I haven't used.
So how you doing? I'm okay. I was married 3 times, Ed.
No.
Yeah, she was married 3 times. All my husbands passed away.
Oh, no, what happened?
My first husband passed away from eating poison mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
My second husband passed away from eating poison mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
My third husband passed away from a fractured skull.
Oh, what happened?
He wouldn't eat the poison mushrooms. La 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 la.
Now, will there be a fourth husband? I understand that you're on the prowl. I thought I read
I'm
about you.
always looking for a man. Last month I went out with a French guy.
Oh,
French
yeah.
guy?
How'd that work out?
Well, I knew he was French because he kissed me on both cheeks. But I was tying my shoes at the time.
Oh.
And then I like Italian guys. Italian guys talk with their hands. If you ever see an Italian guy with his hands in his pockets, he either has nothing to say or he's talking to himself. La 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 la.
Well, that's very good, Aunt
I
Edna.
don't think so. I am looking for a man, and if there's anybody out there that is looking for a hot-looking lady, that's me. Give me a call.
Okay, well, we certainly will do that.
Thank you very much. Anyway, nice to be here.
All right.
I'm
it
glad
was
I'm
very
glad
nice
you could
to
come.
have met
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm gonna go take a little nap, but anybody wants to call, my number's in the book. Aunt Edna, just look it up. See ya.
Bye, Edna. Well, that was amazing.
What a delight.
That was amazing. Now, you have to tell us,
Yes.
how did you come up with Aunt Edna? Or how
Well,
long
you know-
did it take to create her?
You know, for all my characters, which I have actually 4 that I use, and I'm working on another one that we can talk about later. But the 4 that I use, the first thing I have to come up with is the voice. If I don't have a voice for the character, I don't have the character. So I knew I had a falsetto voice that would be able to portray for a female character like Aunt Edna. And then I have an old man voice, like a Santa Claus, ho, 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 kind of
Okay.
a voice. I knew I had that in me to portray my old man character, Salmonella. And,
Great name.
and then Howie's the sarcastic guy, and he just has your normal, typical kind of ventriloquist male voice. And then I have Joe Cool, the camel guy, who's got a real gruff voice. So I knew I had those voices in me, and once I get the voices, then I start looking for the characters.
And walk us through the process. Does it take a couple of months, or is it something you work on every day, or?
As far as the personalities and stuff of them,
Like Aunt Edna. So how long did it take to mold her into the woman she is today?
well, I had the voice, so now I had to find where I could get a female character that would look like the character I wanted. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say the place I got them at.
Do you design your own
No,
puppets? Or?
no. There's one company in Ventura, California, that mass produces puppets like Aunt
okay.
Edna. She's made out of latex, which is like a rubbery substance. And as a matter of fact, Sal Manella, my old man, and Aunt Edna were from the same company in Ventura, California. Am I allowed to say it or no?
No, we'll stay away from that.
We'll stay away from that. Okay. Anyway, it's in Ventura, California, and he mass produces these puppets. So if you wanted an Aunt Edna or if you wanted a salmonella, you could get them, and they're about $500 or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then once I shipped away to get her and paid for it, he shipped her to me and salmonella also, and then I start working on the material, and that's how it goes.
So that's more or less like a mail-order bride?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
There you go.
No comment. I'm perfectly happy with my ventriloquist. So, but I wanted to ask, there's a lot of people are creeped out by. You don't call them dummies, are they?
They're actually, we like to call them.
What's the politically correct term?
The politically correct term is mannequin Americans.
Oh, mannequin Americans.
I like that.
missed
Mannequin
that.
Americans.
Yeah.
I like that.
But a lot of people are actually scared of them, and I'm remembering a movie. I think it was in the '80s. You probably Magic. with
Magic.
Anthony
Yep.
Hopkins.
Anthony
Fats.
Hopkins was in it. Yeah,
And
Fats. Yeah.
And we all know every time, which shows you how I spend my New Year's Eves on the Twilight Zone marathon.
Yeah.
There's always, I think Cliff Robertson.
Yes, he
played
was
one.
in one. I think there's 2 episodes in the Twilight Zone portraying the ventriloquist with the scary dummy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's your take on that? And do you find that, not that Edna would scare anybody,
Well,
but are there?
most ventriloquists hate those episodes, and the movie itself doesn't give us a good portrayal, And it's just so easy for Hollywood to take something like that and kind of twist it to make it a thriller movie or a scary movie or something like that. But as a ventriloquist, we're not thrilled about it, because it just gives us a bad name.
And I'm not sure there's been anything since Anthony Hopkins, and that was.
I haven't really seen
30
anything.
years ago.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So.
But yeah, that's typical Hollywood doing their Hollywood scary stuff and making us guys look bad.
Yep. Good old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best advice?
I was just you took words right out of my mouth.
Go ahead, Tommy, 'cause I'm talking too much.
I was gonna say, what was the best advice you ever got from somebody, and what advice would you give to somebody who may want to take this venture on?
The best advice I ever got was when I asked a comedian how he stayed active for so many years. His response, and I always remember this, was act like your life depended on it. And I thought that was good advice. So in other words, if you're looking for that next job, you got to hustle. You got to make phone calls. You got to go to open auditions or go to the clubs that are letting comedians go on for amateur night or whatever. Just act like it's your life's going to depend on it, and just keep plugging away. And so I thought that was good advice. My advice to anybody that wants to get into this is if you want to get into ventriloquism per se, there's a lot of stuff on the internet that'll help you out. There's also books at the library. So if you really want to get into this, and you don't have to get into it as a profession, even just to have fun with your grandkids or your brother or sister or whatever, or entertain your family at family functions, it's something that's pretty neat to do, and I would recommend anybody who wants to pursue it.
So you enjoy it even when you're not doing a paid gig?
Absolutely, yeah. And I've done many many things for charity in the past where I never got paid or anything. So sometimes you donate your time and.
And it's just as rewarding and just as
absolutely,
much fun.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, that show for the Oak Hill School for the Blind, there was no pay in that, and it's one of the most rewarding shows I ever did in my career because I never forgot that show. You know.
You also do a lot of work with seniors too.
Yes, I'm all over the state doing senior centers. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm in Winstead, but. Yeah, I'm all over the state. Unfortunately, my car takes a beating because I'm driving everywhere.
And the roads are probably
yeah. But the seniors, they really appreciate it, and I have some stuff like I do the Who's on First routine by Abbott and Costello.
Oh.
I'm one guy doing both parts.
Oh, with
one of the puppets, yeah. So I had to learn both parts, and the timing has to be good, and I think I do it pretty good if I say so myself.
How tough was that to learn?
That took a while, and I taped it, and then I just kept playing the tape, stopping it and learning, and then stopping and learning and continuing on and rewinding, and there was a lot of fast forward and rewinding, trying to get the whole thing down, and that took probably a couple of months to get it.
It's such a great routine. I think it still holds up today.
Yeah, it sure does. And of course, right now during baseball season is just ready to kick off. So
Yep.
it's
My
it's
team is 1-0.
Yeah.
So is my team. The Metropolitans. Although by the time this airs, well, I know the Red Sox will probably lose a few games. You had mentioned working for the senior citizen audiences, and you also mentioned working at the Oak Hill School. Do you have a preference to the type of audience would you like? For example, do children react differently than adults?
Yeah, I did. I used to do a lot of kid shows, but now my puppets are like Aunt Edna, who's always looking for a man.
She pushes the envelope a little bit, that Aunt Edna, doesn't she?
And Howie's in a tuxedo, and he's kind of more for the older crowd. And even Salmonella. I mean, I can do little bits with him for kid shows, and I do a lot of family stuff, where families are in the audience, and I give a little bit to the kids and the teenagers and mix and match and put a nice show together. But as far as doing a straight set, like 40-minute show for little kids, that's not really what I'm doing. I'm more of a PG-13 guy.
Okay.
You know, and those are the kind of shows I like to do. And as far as the type of audience, like little cabaret theaters I like to do, where it's kind of intimate. But I just did a show a couple of weeks ago. There were 320 people in the audience. It was a benefit for a park that they were trying to raise money for. And there was 320 people in the audience there. And, so those are nice shows, too.
Wow.
You get a lot of good laughs out of that,
We are just about nearing the end of this segment, but I want to let everybody know that Larry will be back with us on our next show for a performance segment.
Super.
So thank you for joining me, everybody. Ed?
Tommy?
All right, Tom. Nice to be here.
Want to thank Peter in the back.
Good job as
Great
usual.
Great job, Peter. Good night. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Turn your dial to cable 18. You will see the best in TV. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Sit back and listen. You will hear the best conversation of the year. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom. Just talking with Tom.